Hi, Norm. I hear you. Are you here with us, Planet Man?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before I forget, Norm, I was thinking about it the way I introduce you and I give your website. For some reason, Mauricio, I'm not seeing Norm's stuff up here yet. You may want to screen share, Norm.
Okay. Let me.
And I could get more eyeballs on your work, especially after we do an interview, because if you got a Twitter handle, just register and get a Twitter handle. After your interviews, even though I tweet them, okay, so to get eyeballs on it. If you had a Twitter handle, I think that anytime I put out an interview, and it's also another way for you to build followers for your outstanding work. Just a suggestion. You're not compelled to do it, but an idea I have because I think your work is so good. The more people that can uh, peruse it and consider it would be better for them and better for you.
Okay.
What do you think?
The problem is they need to talk to me before they get the letter.
Yeah, but this is how you do it on Twitter. You
Most of the people
communicate.
who are on Twitter don't believe in talking to people.
Well, okay. I've talked to people I've met on Twitter all the time.
Okay.
But okay, let's get to your work. In fact, 90% of my guests I get from Twitter.
Okay.
So but what do I know, right? I'm just a blind squirrel
No, I'm not
in
saying
the
that.
middle of a snow-covered forest on a moonless night, wearing my shades, looking for a nut.
Okay.
So,
Well, you found one.
great, Norm. All right. So
Up, up, up.
we see your notes.
What do you got?
The only issue I have right here, and it's what I saw yesterday, is the right-hand side of your notes is being cut off.
I don't know how. I don't know what I can do about that.
All right, I don't either. So let's just go ahead and it'll be recorded and people could go over it. So take it away.
Alrighty. So you can't see the whole page.
I'm saying the part of the sentences are cut off on the right-hand side. Mauricio, is there anything you can do? But you're going to be talking about it, so
Let me.
we'll get it.
Does that help any?
Yeah, perfect. You got
Oh
it.
yeah. You
Yeah.
like? All right. Well, it's not as big then.
Okay. But that's fine. It's big on our screen.
But you can see a whole sentence now, right?
Yeah.
S ends in T bonds. The last
Right.
word is T bonds there. Okay.
Yeah, we've got the full page now, Norm.
Alrighty. All right. Well, are we ready to kick off here?
Norm Winski at Astrotrendcom about to present his views and reviews of last month's calls and what he sees going forward. Thank you for being with us today, Norm Winski.
Well, thank you for having me on, Dale. So I was on here about a month ago before the stock market peaked on the 17th, a day or two ahead. I think you remember I asked you to go on there because I was looking, had a huge planetary cluster for the 17th. So I was looking for a big change in trend reversal at that time. Well, I got a results chart on the next page here. So just to start off, the first thing I showed last month was the 14th AC after the close. And let's just flip ahead to the chart here so you can see.
Also,
Here's
you made a good call. You had something for the euro on the 18th, I
I got
recall.
that in my notes. If you look
Yeah,
ahead,
okay. Go ahead.
we'll get to there. So anyway,
Okay.
here's the what I think I have the S&P here. Yep, S&P 500 15-minute bar chart. Here's the 14th, and right after the look at that, we have a nice, a classic triangle wedge formation here, and it comes to an apex right there on the close of the 14th. And the next thing we have is a huge cluster right around the 17th. So let's go back to the notes again. And you see AC is after close, so 9:16 after the close, so overnight between the 16th and the 17th, got some big stuff. Morning of the 17th, some more big stuff. Afternoon, and Mercury goes retrograde. I've talked about that before, where the planets go what's called direct retrograde, comes under the umbrella term of a station point, where due to the Earth's relative motion, when you look out in the sky, it appears, that's the key operative word, it appears that the other planets stop their motion and reverse the direction. Mercury does this about 3 to 4 times a year. and that occurred at just past 2 o'clock Eastern Time on the 17th, just about the time of the Federal Reserve making the big announcement that they weren't going to do anything right away. And then you can see here on the chart what the S&P did. You have a big rally into the 17th, so that indicated you were probably going to make a high there. And right there, that red arrow is Mercury going retrograde, and there's the market spiking to a peak within
Took
about
that
40.
trade. Took that trade in buying TVX there. Took it. Worked.
Great, super. Glad you said you made some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it worked within about 45 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was, I think it lasted, there was a rally when the Fed did nothing that lasted maybe an hour, and that was it.
Okay, and then you can see what happened. We had a substantial decline then into the next station point, which was Pluto turning direct on the night of the 24th. These usually work within one trading day, and the market bottom on the 24th.
Plus, you had a now index buy down there.
Yep, could be. I had to go back in all my emails there and check that. Or I do keep a law, a diary for myself on that.
I haven't seen the now index trade fail for a few months now.
Since early June, when we kind of came into an area here where we had quite a few signals, I think it's 8 out of 9 now.
Okay, pretty good hit rate.
Yeah, we're working on getting better.
Yeah, you got to go 9 for 9 next time.
There you go. All right, and here's you mentioned that we
I'll take 8. I'll take 8 out of 9 for the rest of my life.
Alrighty. Coming up here now, you mentioned we talked about the euro last month, and that was based on do a couple of things related to the euro. One of them is the astrological analysis for the euro bank. So the euro bank was going to be active last month, and I gave you some key dates here, and we were going to monitor the euro as a proxy for the euro bank, and I gave you these dates, and here's how they came out. So the first date was August 31. That's this first green arrow here. You had a nice little short-term low there. Then we went down and made the low of the month. LOM is that green arrow there. That was the low of the month. That was the next date, I think, 9/3. Then we went up, made a little short-term high here on that red arrow, and that was 9/8, I believe. Then you had a little pullback for a day or two, and then it took off. And I think it was 1 day off the high of the month on the next date. That was the 17th.
Yeah, but there was a very minimal follow-through from that day. I think maybe another 20 pips higher. That again was the Fed.
You can see that right here where the red arrow is the day before the high of the month. There's HOM with a line. I had the day before, and you can see it went slightly higher the next day.
Yeah.
This is a clunker here where I encircle a bar with red like that. That was a miss. And so here's the next date was a nice little short-term low there. So we have the total is we have 5 out of 6, 83.33%. Okay.
Nice work.
And now we have what's coming up. So the reason I ask you to come on now, Dale, is because we have another one of these big clusters, and when Mercury does go retrograde, that usually lasts about 3 weeks, about 21 days roughly. And so that's where we're at today, the 10th of October, and that will occur around 10:58 a.m. Eastern Time. So that's in about an hour and a half from now. And so
I have a question because I don't see you including it on your 10-11 date. Gann was big on planetary oppositions, and we have one with Neptune on the 11th. Do you consider oppositions at all?
Well, yeah, but I don't know where you're talking about. The 11th here.
Yeah, there's a planetary opposition.
Which one?
Neptune, with Neptune on the 11th.
Well, which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Well, something's opposed Neptune, right?
I think it's with Earth, isn't it? The planetary opposition.
Well, that's just a one-day thing. These are all major cycles. This is a 13-year cycle here.
Okay.
So you're talking about a one-day thing.
See, that's why. Well, look, that's why I asked you. I ask questions so I can learn.
Okay. Well, the 11th is also a Sunday, and you
Right.
only have 1 day things. So by the time the market's open on Monday, it'll have come and gone. But this thing is, this could have an influence for weeks, and it's culminating on Sunday. And so, so we got
Okay.
a huge cluster between the 9th and Sunday the 11th, or Monday morning's openings. And so there you go. So let's see. Here's another thing, another big thing. The moon's north node. That's a mathematical point in space. As the moon goes around the Earth, it crosses the ecliptic, the path of the highways, the highway for the planets, and that's a moving point, with an 18.6 year cycle. So every 18.6 months, it will go into a different zodiac sign. So that's what's happening now. We're changing signs, and we're leaving Libra and entering Virgo. Empirical data that this may be working is, I've many years ago figured out that Libra has to do with sugar. The moon's north node is like another Jupiter in that it's in abundance. So about 18 months ago, I forecasted that we were likely to have a downtrend in sugar, a bear market for sugar, and that's pretty much what happened. Sugar was going down, down, down until just a few weeks ago. Now it looks like its bear market may be over. So now we're going into Virgo. This probably longer term has a bearish effect on soybeans.
Okay.
So if you want to trade the grains from the long side, I would avoid the beans. Buy something else. Let's see. So that's it. So we got a huge cluster coming up right now, Friday through Monday, and then I always try to throw in something with the currencies. Whatever the plans are telling me is the hot item of the month. If we do have one of those, and we have the C Bank, which is my nickname for the Central Bank of Canada. They're active this month, and so here we have our dates. We have October 2, we have the 9th, and the 12th. So there we go. That corresponds to the other stuff we have here for the other markets. And then the 22nd, and then we have a big. The 12th, by the way, is I underline that as a high, as a super date, a big date. And then we have the 28th after the close. And this is as of last night's chart, futures on the Canadian dollar. And a Canadian told me yesterday that this was out of date Canadian money, but I think it looks nicer than those coins,
It's a loony.
Well, loony, right?
All right, so we're going up into this time frame with the strength in the crude because it's kind of a petrocurrency.
Right.
So, am I right to assume that with your work, we'd be looking for some type of peak into this time frame for at least a pullback?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
That's what's likely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then let's. I'm going to tell your folks about how they can get some free stuff and get a free education. So you can get a free, if you contact me right away. I'm going to get into my busy time here in just a few more days. So you got to contact me right away to get a free issue of my letter. And with the letter, you get a free class. Usually on average is about 3 hours, and you're going to get advanced education and advanced technical analysis education. We're going to cover some planetary cycles, advanced Fibonacci, how to do fractals on the markets, and all kinds of neat stuff. And you get like a kind of a graduate college education on technical analysis. But the great thing is, once you get past the language barrier, which is you have to learn, maybe learn 30, 40 things of some of the strange terminology of the planetary cycles and so forth. You really don't need to be smarter than a fifth grader. I can teach this to a grade school kid. So, looks complicated, but it's not really. So here's how you get a hold of me. Let's see, I'm in the USA in sunny Florida at 239-594-3939. You can call me at 239-594-3939. Or if you're overseas, or if you prefer, you can contact me on Skype at norm.winski. Or we also have email. Here we go, down here somewhere is my email. There we go. Here's my email. norm@normwinski winski.com. So that's
Thank
it.
you, Norm. I encourage people to check it out. I find this stuff fascinating. I learned today that I shouldn't pay attention to planetary oppositions as much because they're one-day events, and
So you
um,
can't bundle all oppositions together. There's a hierarchy of planetary activity. So some things are bigger
what
than
is
others.
Neptune a metaphor for? I know, in mythology he was the king of the sea, water. When you think of Neptune, what does it mean to you?
Well, you mentioned the ocean, and so when we look at human behavior and various things, Neptune tends to be murky. It's not very well defined.
Okay.
So that's kind of ambiguous and murky, like the ocean, and unlimited.
What are the bigger ones like Saturn? Saturn's the largest planet, I believe, in
Well,
Roman.
what you need to
Roman.
do is look. What you need to do is look at them in terms of time cycles. So the
Okay,
farther out you go, the longer the cycle. So
I see.
so for example, we go from the fastest is Mercury. It only takes 88 days to go around the sun.
Right.
Contrast when we get to what's so-called outer planets, that's from Jupiter on out. Jupiter takes 11 and a half years. Then we take another leap when you get to Saturn. Now you're talking 29 and a half years.
Wow.
Next is
Okay.
Uranus. Next is Uranus at 84 years, and
Wow. I see.
then Neptune at 167 years, and Pluto is 248. So Pluto hasn't even gotten around to where it was when the United States was formed in 1776.
Great perspective. I also have read that Saturn in either Greek or Roman times, they would say to people that if they were in Saturn, it was equal to being in melancholia, depression.
That's true. If in a natal chart, Saturn, if it's strongly, if dominant in a chart, can make a person with a tendency for depression. That's correct.
I must have that planet. But you know what? Thank you for lifting me out of my depression today, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Well, thanks
You
for
know,
having me.
because you know what? You can never be depressed if you're grateful for one thing. And
Okay.
I'm grateful that I got to know you, and I learn from you every time you're on the air. And I do believe that it's fascinating work. And if people have the inclination to know that there's a rhythm to the markets that's parallel to the universe, and that's why things like Fibonacci numbers work, that this is another methodology to give you big picture. And even if you look at Norm States, some pinpoint turning points to take action on.
As it says in
How's
the
that?
Bible.
All right, I'll sum it up. I endorse Norm Winski's work.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Dale.
Thank you for being with us today, Norm.
Okay. I would just say that I can't imagine trading without this stuff. It's kind of like a weather forecast for the markets.
Yeah,
So, you wouldn't want to go out in a sailboat out in the ocean without checking with the weather forecast first. So I don't know how people trade without this stuff.
yeah. Well, many ways to skin a cat, but I can say that I've taken advantage of some of your turning points
Great,
personally.
super.
Okay?
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to helping some of your folks. So, please call me right away so we can get the ball rolling for you.
Okay, give Norm a call and learn about the universe and how it applies to trading.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Norm.
Thank you very much for having me on, Dale. Everybody have a great day.
Okay, have a good weekend. Good hunting in these time frames, man.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All
Thanks.
right, bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Everyone enjoy that. It's Norm Winski at www.astro/trend.com. Everyone